In 1911, as an explorer named Hiram Bingham was making his way through dense jungle high in the Andes, cutting through vines and stepping over wet roots, he suddenly caught a glimpse beneath the thick canopy. Hidden between the trees was a sight so unexpected it felt unreal. An ancient city abandoned in silence, rising out of the mist as if it had been waiting for centuries to be seen. A place we now know as Machu Picchu, perfectly carved into the mountain with stones fitted so precisely it defies explanation. How could a civilization like the Inca build something like this more than 2,400 meters above sea level without wheels, without iron tools, and without modern technology? And even more mysterious, why was it suddenly abandoned with no clear trace of what happened? Is this just a lost city? Or is it a secret that history has been trying to hide? Because what you are about to hear might completely change the way you see human history. After that first breathtaking discovery, the mystery of Machu Picchu slowly began to unfold, revealing a location so extreme that even today it challenges modern imagination. This ancient city is not simply built on a mountain. It is perched high along the rugged spine of the Andes, surrounded by steep cliffs, deep valleys, and fast-flowing rivers far below. Clouds drift through the ruins, and the air itself feels thin and distant from the rest of the world. Sitting more than 2,400 meters above sea level, completely isolated as if it was deliberately hidden from human eyes. Even reaching this place today requires effort through winding paths and narrow trails once used by the Inca. And that immediately raises a powerful question. Why would anyone choose to build a city in such a dangerous and inaccessible location, where landslides, earthquakes, and harsh weather are constant threats? Where every stone had to be transported across mountains without wheels or large animals? And where survival itself seems like a daily challenge? As explorers moved deeper into the site, they began to uncover terraces carved into steep slopes, temples carefully aligned with the movement of the sun, and structures so precisely built that they have survived centuries of earthquakes without collapsing. This suggests a level of engineering and knowledge far beyond what we typically imagine for an ancient civilization. Almost as if the builders understood the mountain in ways we still struggle to explain. But what makes it even more mysterious is what they did not find. There were no defensive walls, no scattered weapons, no signs of battles or destruction that could explain why such a place needed to exist in isolation. There is no evidence of chaos, no trace of violence, nothing that suggests this city ever faced an external threat. And this is where the mystery deepens. Because something about Machu Picchu feels peaceful, untouched by conflict, almost as if it was never meant to be a city of war at all. And the strangest detail of all is this: there are absolutely no clear signs that it was ever attacked or destroyed. A fact that continues to puzzle historians and researchers to this day. As the mystery deepens, one question becomes impossible to ignore. Who actually built this incredible place? Because every stone, every terrace, every structure in Machu Picchu points back to a powerful and fascinating civilization known as the Inca. A people who once ruled a vast empire stretching across South America, yet left behind no written language as we know it, no clear records explaining their greatest achievements, only silence and stone. The Inca were not just builders. They were masters of their environment, shaping mountains as if they were part of nature itself. And nowhere is this more evident than in the way they constructed Machu Picchu, using a technique so precise that even modern engineers struggle to fully replicate it. Massive stones, some weighing dozens of tons, were cut and placed together so perfectly that no mortar was needed, each block fitting tightly against the next, forming walls that have survived earthquakes for centuries without collapsing. What makes this even more astonishing is the level of precision. The stones are not uniform. They are irregular, uniquely shaped, and yet they interlock with incredible accuracy, as if each one was custom designed to fit exactly into its place, creating structures that are both beautiful and unbelievably strong. And this raises a question that continues to puzzle researchers around the world. How did they cut stones of such size and hardness with such perfection? How did they transport them across steep mountains and valleys without wheels, without metal tools, and without any form of advanced machinery? How did they achieve a level of craftsmanship that even today feels almost impossible to replicate? And this is where the mystery begins to blur the line between history and the unknown. Because the more we study their work, the harder it becomes to accept that such precision was achieved with such limited technology, leading many to wonder if there is something about the Inca that we still do not fully understand. As we go deeper into the story of Machu Picchu, the questions only become more unsettling, because the first mystery lies in its construction. Stones so perfectly fitted together that not even a thin blade can slide between them. Walls that have stood for centuries against earthquakes, rain, and time itself, and yet they were built without mortar, without iron tools, and without any known advanced technology, leading many to believe that the Inca possessed techniques that have been completely lost to history. Knowledge that disappeared along with their empire. But others take this even further, suggesting something far more controversial. That perhaps these structures were not entirely the work of human hands. That an unknown influence, even extraterrestrial, may have played a role. A theory that sparks endless debate but refuses to fully disappear. But what is even more unsettling is not how it was built, but why it was built in the first place. Because no one can say for certain what Machu Picchu was truly meant to be. Some believe it was a royal estate for Inca rulers, a hidden retreat high in the mountains. Others argue it was a sacred religious center where rituals connected humans with the gods. While another theory suggests it functioned as an astronomical observatory, carefully aligned with the sun, the stars, and important celestial events, and each explanation seems possible. Yet none of them fully explains everything we see. And this is where things become even more mysterious. Because the biggest question of all still remains unanswered. Why was it abandoned? There are no clear records. No signs of destruction, no mass graves or evidence of war, which leads to several theories. Perhaps a deadly disease forced the population to leave. Perhaps the arrival of foreign invaders created fear and uncertainty. Or perhaps the people of Machu Picchu made a deliberate decision to leave, walking away from their city for reasons we may never fully understand. But the most unsettling part is this. Despite all the research, all the discoveries, and all the modern technology used to study it, there is still no single explanation that can answer all these questions at once. And a detail that few people truly consider is how all these mysteries seem to connect. The precision of the construction, the unclear purpose, and the sudden abandonment, forming a puzzle that feels incomplete no matter how we try to solve it. And this is what continues to confuse scientists and historians to this day. Because the more we learn about Machu Picchu, the more it feels like we are only scratching the surface of something much deeper. Something that refuses to fully reveal itself, leaving behind just enough clues to keep us searching, but never enough to give us the full truth. As the mystery surrounding Machu Picchu continues to grow, many theories have emerged, each trying to explain how such an extraordinary place could exist. And the first comes from science itself, suggesting that the builders, the Inca, were far more advanced than we often assume. Especially in their understanding of nature. Because the structures here are not just beautiful, they are incredibly resilient, designed to withstand powerful earthquakes through precise stone cutting, flexible joints, and deep foundations that allow the buildings to move slightly rather than collapse. A level of engineering that feels surprisingly modern, as if they understood the behavior of the earth long before it was formally studied. But not everyone is satisfied with this explanation. Because while it answers how the city has survived, it does not fully explain how such precision was achieved in the first place. And this leads to a more mysterious idea, that the Inca may have inherited or discovered a form of ancient technology that has since been lost. Techniques that allowed them to shape stone with a level of accuracy that we can barely replicate even today. Raising the possibility that human history may be far more complex than we realize. With knowledge rising and disappearing across forgotten civilizations. And then comes the most controversial theory of all, one that many dismiss but others continue to question. The idea that Machu Picchu may have some connection to a non-human intelligence. That the precision, the location, and the unexplained aspects of its construction could point to influence from beyond Earth. Not necessarily direct construction, but perhaps guidance or knowledge passed down in ways we do not yet understand. A theory that sounds extreme, yet continues to surface whenever we face something that challenges our current understanding of the past. So now the question turns to you. After hearing all of this, which theory do you believe makes the most sense? Do you trust the scientific explanation of advanced but natural engineering? Or do you think there is something more hidden beneath the surface? Something that has yet to be discovered? Or perhaps something that history itself has overlooked? And maybe the most important question is this: what if none of these theories are completely right? What if the truth is something entirely different? Something we have not even considered yet? Because the deeper we look into Machu Picchu, the more it feels like we are standing at the edge of a mystery that is still far from being solved. Today, Machu Picchu stands as one of the most iconic and breathtaking places on Earth. But its journey back into human awareness only began in 1911, when Hiram Bingham brought global attention to this hidden city after centuries of silence, transforming it from a forgotten ruin deep in the mountains into a symbol of mystery and wonder that continues to captivate the world. Over time, Machu Picchu has been recognized as one of the greatest achievements of the Inca and is now celebrated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site and one of the new 7 wonders of the world, attracting millions of visitors every year who travel across continents just to witness its beauty with their own eyes. Walking the same ancient paths, touching the same stones, and standing in the same places where history still feels alive. Yet despite all the research, all the technology, and all the people who have explored this site, the deeper truth remains just out of reach. Because no matter how many theories are proposed or how many discoveries are made, there is still no single answer that can fully explain how it was built, why it was abandoned, or what its true purpose really was. And that is what makes Machu Picchu so fascinating. Because even today, after more than a century since its rediscovery, it continues to hold onto its secrets, quietly standing above the clouds as if guarding a story that humanity has yet to fully understand. And the most intriguing part is this: even though millions of people have visited this place, its mystery has never truly been solved. And after everything we have explored, one thing becomes clear: Machu Picchu is not just an ancient structure. It is a question that humanity still has not been able to fully answer. So what do you think? How was it really built? Was it the brilliance of the Inca, a lost technology, or something even more mysterious? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoy uncovering mysteries like this, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss what comes next. Because some of the greatest secrets in history are not gone. They are simply waiting for us to discover them.